Welcome to another Moments in Time. It is February 13, and our caption for today is Keep Believing. Are you like me, dear listener? You dread the cold. I literally dread the cold. I've been struggling with the cold weather lately and just been praying for a stretch of favorable weather. Today, the forecast predicted a temperature range of about 30 to 50 degrees thereabout, but I couldn't quite trust that. So I grabbed on my Thomas's cap instead. That's the cap that belonged to a guy named Thomas. That's the guy who doubted that Jesus had risen from the dead. And he was like, I gotta see it to believe it. That was me today. Nonetheless, I stepped outside and I was greeted by my kind of weather, milder and more pleasant. I could live with that. Yet every moment I spent outdoors, doubt began to linger in my mind. I felt the change. Yes, it was warmer, but I kept comparing it to the harsh freeze we endured last week. It was so hard to believe that things were really that good. Doesn't this reflect a broader truth about life? Have you ever found yourself in that situation where what is apparent before you is really what you are expecting, but somewhere at the back of your mind, doubt comes in and you forget the fact that yes, things are better? Or sometimes we are so used to the no's, we are so used to the I can't have it or I can't do it, we are so used to the denials that when we really have what it is we're believing for or we've been believing for, we can't believe it. We put on the Thomas cap. We pray about an issue, but when the answer comes, we begin to doubt. This brings to mind a story from Acts chapter 12. What happened was James was killed and Peter was taken captive by Herod, and he was scheduled to stand trial the next morning. The church went through an all-night prayer, praying for Peter so that he could have been released. And guess what? God answered. An angel came to the prison, opened up the cell, freed Peter, led him out of the prison. Peter, now who is free, arrived to the house where his friends are now praying for him. He knocked the door because, of course, he's outside and it may have been cold. Who knows? And a little girl by the name of Rhoda answered the door. She recognized Peter's voice and she was so excited that she forgot to let Peter in. She left him out in the cold and ran back in to tell everyone that Peter was at the door. But instead of rejoicing, they doubted her. It must be an angel, one person said. No, at all. Then why are we here? Isn't that why we are praying here for Peter so that he can be released? No, it's not Peter. You saw a ghost. The very miracle they had prayed for was standing right at the door, and they struggled to believe it. Sounds familiar, right? That's why I want to remind you today that as you step out, that the answer to your prayer may just be a knock away. The faith you've exercised to believe in is the same faith you will need to receive it. So pause today. Pause for a moment and listen. Listen to the knocking that's going on inside of your heart. A knock that reminds you that prayer has been answered. Perhaps your breakthrough is already at the door, waiting for you just to open, to realize that it has been there for you. God has lots in store for you today, dear listener. And I trust that as you go out into today, keep trusting, keep hoping, and keep believing. Thank you for joining me for another Moments in Time. I will connect with you soon. I am your host, Liz August.